Martins.
Hello, people. What is happening? Welcome to another episode of Grassroot Chats with myself, the host, the captain, MC Savvy Boy, and of course, my co pilot, co captain, Dr. Frank. How's it going, man? You good?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good, man. How about you?
Not too bad, not too bad. It's been an interesting week, interesting week. Before we go into the beautiful world of different sports, a big, massive appreciation and shout to Nia Dennis and Jennifer King. I believe you have been following them closely, so I'll let you describe what they've done in the past time.
Yeah, do you know what? I'm really happy about what these two women have done. First of all, with Nia Dennis, I know a lot of people watch gymnastics, but for those who are into it, this woman, young lady, American lady, she's continued to thrive, and she put forward an absolutely beautiful, pitch perfect performance on the floor, and it was associated with Black Lives Matter. It was amazing. The tunes that in the background.
She had songs with Kendrick Lamar and Beyonce and Missy Elliott.
Yeah, it was sick. It was absolutely brilliant. That is what you want to see. She even did the little dab, she did the salute. It was on point. And that is what I'm all about. And I respect that because she didn't have to do that. She knew she would get some negative press for doing that. But you know what? The judges saw what they wanted to see and they gave her a perfect score. Amazing. So I'm really happy as far as that's concerned. As far as Jennifer King is concerned, she topped Nia Dennis. Not only has she been thriving in American football for years, she has become the first Black female coach in NFL history for the Washington football team. Amazing, absolutely amazing. The hard graft has worked, and even the likes of Billie Jean King gave her a massive shout out. That is what you call big in the game. So Nia Dennis, Jennifer King, we salute you.
We definitely do. Hopefully they continue in that good stead, continue to bring glory to themselves, their families, and of course, impress even people like you, which you seem like you wanted to get that off your chest. You so wanted to talk about Nia Dennis and Jennifer King.
That's big in the game.
That's good. If they ever get to see our message, we're big fans. I definitely will start watching a bit more ballet. Who knows? You never know.
You never know.
Yeah. So we're going to dive right in. You know me, I don't like to waste too much time. Just talk about what the situation is. So I've been looking at all the sports, and of course, football, which is our number one baby. Now, the question I have for you is very simple. And the reason I ask this question is simply because of the Milan Derby. So the Milan Derby was a cup game, Coppa Italia, between AC Milan and Inter Milan.
Yeah.
And forgetting the scores or whatever happened, what happened in particular was the fight between, or the almost fight, or the scuffle between Zlatan and Lukaku. Now, my question is, those kind of moments make those rivalries wonderful.
Yes.
And considering the fact that Man United played Arsenal and we missed the Roy Keane and Vieira days, the fighting in the tunnel, then of course they back it up with good football. Have rivalries over time become less and less important to the players and more important to the fans?
You know what? In this time, especially during this pandemic, 100%, you've got to say yes. I personally feel even now, we've almost come up to like a year with this pandemic, and the passion, I feel some of the games, I feel like they're glorified friendlies. I really do. You see Arsenal playing Man United. I saw players skinning teeth. I saw players skinning teeth with each other. Since when do you see players skinning teeth with each other? Since when do people go in without these full-blooded challenges? It wasn't there in Arsenal versus Man United. It was neat football. It was entertaining. It was 0-0. It wasn't a ball draw, but it was entertaining. But the fans weren't there to push them on. We know what the fans are like at Arsenal. They're the sort of fans, they get on your back after the first 15, 20 minutes. They want to know and they want to see what's going on. The same at Old Trafford. If things ain't going well in a game like that, there's going to be a reaction. There's nothing there. As far as the players are concerned, I feel like sometimes they do go out there and they're just getting their paychecks. There's no passion, there's no heart. Nobody's, playing for that badge anymore. Do you remember the days? I remember when infamous time Gary Neville was playing Arsenal. They won the game, and he went to the video, to the camera, and he was like, "Yeah, that's me,
I
that's
mean,
us."
knowing Gary Neville, he did that to a whole lot of other teams, Liverpool and all that. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
cool.
yeah, but pandemic aside, though, I think this is something I've been seeing over the years. So I think the rivalries are more important to the fans, and you get the passion and the whatever you get, the emotions between the fans. Amongst the players, though, I don't particularly see it as much. So if we look at rivalries, not just in England and everywhere else, you used to have one of the reasons that the games were really big was a competitive edge. One point they're both going for the cup. If you look at the likes of Real Madrid, Barcelona, Celtic, Rangers, at a certain point, Man United, Arsenal, and of course you also have the rivalries that you have history. So if for example, you look at the Midlands, you have West Brom Villa. You have all those teams. You have all those. You love West Brom, don't you? You have.
I hate Scumbrum. Pardon my language. I cannot stand Scumbrum. We are not friends whatsoever. It's a situation like living in Aston personally. I will know this. We have this thing in Aston. If we lose to Scumbrum, don't go work next day. There's no point. Because if you go work the next day and you've got to do a Scumbrum fan, a fight is going to break out. You don't even date someone who supports Scumbrum. Burnham City, maybe. Scumbrum, no way.
You're proving my point exactly. So the passion is still within the fans. So I was very happy when I saw, I mean, Lukaku and Zlatan, former teammates, Man United. They probably don't. I don't know where the beef came from, but I liked the fact that they were going at each other, and that made the game a bit spicy. If you're looking back now, even when you see the likes of maybe Arsenal, Tottenham, it's more about the fans going back and forth, but the players don't seem to have that. I mean, if you ever watched the documentary with Roy Keane and Vieira, and how Roy Keane said, "Look, a week, 2 weeks before we play this game, everybody is getting, there's the passion, there's the heat." But then now, I don't know, when I'm looking at particular reasons why the rivalries have died, does it not mean much to the players anymore? Is it just another opponent take 3 points, move on? Is it it's what is killing it? What is exactly killing it?
Do you know what? I'm glad you brought up Roy Keane and Vieira because I can watch that documentary over and over and over. And even then, you could still see the animosity and the friction between the two players. Even then, okay? Nowadays, people don't know what derbies are about, what rivalries are about. If you look at the players, for example, I'm going to use Man United and Man City, perfect example. The majority of players at the Citizens at Man City, they don't know what this Manchester derby is all about. All they care about is getting the 3 points. Who cares about going in with 50-50 challenges? Who cares about what Roy Keane did to Alf Inge Haaland? You remember that challenge?
Of
They
course.
won't. They probably don't even know what that even is. These are the sort of things that people should be thinking about. I will never forget when Man City, I can't remember what year it was, but I'll never forget when Man City took Man United apart and they beat them like 5 or 6-1. Even the GOAT scored, Sean Gota, right? These are the sort of things, this should be installed into players. If I'm Guardiola, I'm saying, don't ever forget this. You want to be number one? You want Manchester City to be blue and always blue? You want Manchester to be blue? You need to remember this stuff and embarrass them. The same way the Red Devils need to say, you know what? This happened to us. This happened. It's not happening again. You don't hear that. You don't see that. So yeah, 100%. Rivalry is all about the fans now. The players, they don't even know what we're even talking about.
Well, but to be fair to the players, it's still all about going out and getting 3 points. So
of course it is. Of
so
course.
there will still be the fight, the passion, beat the person in front of you and move on.
Tell me the last time that you saw a red card in a derby.
Well, that doesn't necessarily make it as passionate as we want it to be, though.
Sometimes, do you remember people used to go over the top? They used
Well,
to go over
the
the top.
last
We don't even see a snippet.
the last red card I saw, or I can remember off the top of my head, was Paul Pogba against Arsenal, Man
When was
United
that?
in Emirates. That's about, I think, 2 seasons ago. Man United. That's when Lingard did the, uh,
Oh yeah,
uh,
yeah.
the dance. Yeah, but other than that, in terms of 50-50 tackles, pushes, fights, that tension that you feel
Not
before,
there.
it's been a while. It's been a while. I think the last, well, maybe it's possible because, as I said, the competitive edge between these teams have all gone. So if you look at the Midlands, apart from bragging rights, so you have Leicester, you have West Brom, you have Aston Villa, you have Wolves. With the fans not being there, as you say, it puts a different light. But even when the fans were there, it's, as I said, it's more, you see more of the passion in the fans than the players.
Oh, you're always going to see that. You're always going to see that, and I think that's exactly why a lot of people want to see the fans come back as soon as possible because they're a big factor, a massive factor.
Okay, so what we're saying now is, because the passion with the fans always transcend to the players, and eventually the tension will come back, and then you can get the feisty red cards and the punch in the eye, and talking points after the
Why?
game.
Because you know what you're talking about. That's exactly what it is, and that's exactly why we need fans back in the stadium. 100%. However, what can we do?
Well, we shall see. We shall see. Looking at, say, when I'm looking at other games and looking at the things out there, and I mean, the game is still beautiful. We're just taking 3 points and moving ahead, but there's that extra thing that it seems to miss these days. Seems to.
Yeah, 100%.
Uh,
100%.
I mean, for example, in when you have in Spain, where you have Atletico Madrid leading the table.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Barcelona is second now, I think, and Madrid is third. So
Yeah.
if they play each other, playing for second and playing to win the cup might be a different incentive. So the passion might not be there as much, especially, as I said, then no fans again. So things like
Mm-hmm.
that might take the edge off. Whereas you have Man City and Liverpool, who have been going toe to toe for the past 3-4 years. The games are nice to watch; they're wonderful, but you still don't see as much grr in the games as
Grubs,
you see.
there's no crack. It's not there.
It's not there. It's not there. Well, it's all good. It's all good. Hopefully, the rivalries get back to what they used to be. Till then, we'll continue to enjoy the games as we could. Which
Of course.
which is now another thing I happen to come across, which is a conversation and debate and argument I seem to get with a lot of people. Now, what is a baller? And the reason I ask you what a baller is you seem to have people enjoy tricks, flicks, a lot of wonderful things that some talented footballers do.
Mm,
And you would tend that a lot of ballers get away with a lot of things because they are ballers.
mm.
So I personally believe a baller should be in the circus. Personally, I mean, if you're if you're doing flick tricks and you don't have an impact on the game, you should definitely be in the circus. Now, the question I ask is this: my definition of the baller, typical example, JJ Okocha. Yes?
Okay, now we're talking.
JJ
Serious.
Okocha, baller, yes? Ginola, yes?
Do you know what? I have my thing about Ginola, but let's put him in there.
Okay. Pepe for Arsenal.
FIFA Street Footballer.
However, would you pick JJ Okocha above Lampard, Scholes, or Gerrard?
Not in this lifetime.
Are you saying Lampard, Scholes, and Gerrard are not ballers?
They are ballers. I didn't say they weren't ballers. You asked me, would I pick them ahead?
Okay,
They are
but
definitely ballers.
my definition of baller is a flick tricks, skill. For example, Ronaldinho, baller.
Mm-hmm.
But the difference to Ronaldinho is the balling was very. It had a lot of impact on the game.
Mm-hmm.
So what I wanted to find out is what is a baller, and what's the point of being a baller if you have no impact or effect on the game?
Do you know what? I'm going to say this. I think there's different types of ballers. You've got your creative baller, playmaker, let's call them. And then you've got your baller, like you just rightfully said, who impacts the game. Now, people are going to disagree with me about this, probably, just like people normally do. James Milner is a baller.
James
This
Milner.
guy is a baller, okay? I'm not talking about them flicks and all that sort of stuff. If we're talking about a guy who can adapt to situation, if we're talking, because you need that adaptability and sometimes you need that versatility, that makes you a baller. This guy is a serial winner, a serial baller. And that's what I mean when I say, what are we talking about when we say baller?
That's why
Because
I
if we're
asked
talking,
you, what is a baller?
it's an incredibly difficult question. For me, a baller is someone who consistently makes an impact in the game.
Then, then Pepe is not a baller. Then,
FIFA street footballer.
um, as much as I love even JJ Okocha, as much as I love him, he didn't always have in his earlier careers. He didn't exactly have as much impact on the game. I mean, it was nice to watch. He did flick tricks, he did everything, but in terms of impact, affect the game positively, make your team win without creation.
Mm.
But he didn't particularly have all that. Kevin De Bruyne, is he a baller?
Serious business. This is a serious baller
So,
on serious levels.
so from what you're saying, a baller is skill, wonderful, and then makes an impact.
Consistency. You need that. You need to put them both together. That balance, exactly what you just said, is what I feel a baller is. Exactly what I feel a baller is.
So, do ballers evolve? So, of course, evolution is change. So you can change for the better and change for the worse.
Mm.
So, Willian, when he was in Chelsea, baller.
Serious baller.
So, the
When he was
fact
at
that
Chelsea.
the fact that he's having a bad time in Arsenal, does that stop him from being a baller?
No, it doesn't stop him from being a baller because, as that infamous saying says, form is temporary, class is permanent. He will always be a baller. He's just fallen off at this present moment in time, and that's exactly why he's not making the first 11 at the moment. But is Willian a baller? Of course, my guy's a baller.
Jack
I'm a
Grealish.
baller. Jack Green, hoi, hoi. See how I'm skinning teeth? This guy is a baller. How far this guy can go, we don't know. But I've had this conversation with many others as well, and they laugh at me when I said it before, and I'll say it again. My guy is someone who can walk into the Barcelona team right now. No joke.
He can. Well, sorry. I just want you to say that again. With your chest. He can what?
My guy right now can walk into the Barcelona team right now.
Well, to be
No,
fair, you might have a point because the Barcelona team right now is a bit funny or lack of
I,
fun. However, the
I
Barcelona
know
midfield has. However, right now they have who do they have? They have Dembele, they have Messi, they have the Griezmann. Um, who do they have in the middle?
De Jong
De
right now
Jong.
in the
Yep.
but Sergio Busquets is always injured at the moment.
Okay.
Um, they let go of Artur. They got Pjanic. Do you know
So
what?
Grealish will walk into the Barcelona team now, but
Now,
would he? Okay, but would he walk into the? Would he have walked into the team about 4 years ago with this form? 4 or 5 years
no,
ago? No.
no,
Okay.
no way.
Right. No way. Okay. So staying on the baller issue is that a lot of people get carried away with tricks, flicks, and not much happening, and they
Mm.
will give a baller more time, even if it's not making impact, than give somebody that's not known for all that skill and that story. And they will always fall on the fact that it's a baller. Don't worry, with time something will come. With time something will come.
Mm.
In my opinion, there are ballers and there are impact players.
Yes.
There are ballers. There are also ballers that can make an impact. Some people are both. Some people are not. But for some reason, ballers seem to be given a bit more time than the rest of most people.
Mm-hmm,
So
mm-hmm.
I remember once I said, if we're using Arsenal as an example, or let's not use Arsenal. Paul Pogba, baller.
Late waste.
Sorry.
So I was talking about Arsenal. Waste of time.
Okay.
Move on.
Paul Pogba, baller.
Of course.
Okay. Um, Bruno Fernandes.
Yes.
But he doesn't do tricks and flicks. He
But,
has major impact.
but this is my point, and that goes back to the likes of James Milner. You don't always have to be doing flicks and tricks to be the baller. You can be a baller when you make that impact. And we have to say Milner is still a baller.
So does this also, so defensive players, are they under the category of ballers?
You have to put them in there. Of course, you have to put them in there. You know, the last guy, for example, the last defender to have won World Player of the Year was Fabio Cannavaro.
Yes.
This guy's a baller. You
Yeah,
have to
but
call him a
that's
baller.
I mean, he had a good year and he had a very wonderful World Cup in 2006 when Italy won and he was captain. And with impact on the game, yes, he stopped goals. But at the end of the day, unfortunately for defenders, anybody that plays any defensive role, the players that you have to be exceptional before you
Mm-hmm.
actually noticed as player of the year and that story. So the
Yeah,
only
100.
guys that score goals and guys that create goals.
Mm.
But as much as in according to my definition of ballers, defenders and defensive players are impact players, but they're not ballers. So it depends. What is ask again? You have been very wavy with your definition of ballers. Define what a
Mm.
baller is. Don't give me an example. Define what it is.
A baller, in my opinion, is someone who consistently makes that impact on the game.
Okay, I'll just call a couple of players and you tell me if they're ballers. Just Lingard.
Dudu Lingard. I cannot stand Dudu Lingard. This guy is very lucky to be in football. I don't, you know what? Let's move on because I could do a whole section on this guy as to why he should not be in football. My guy should be playing on Hackney Marshes.
James Madison.
Baller at the moment.
Thomas Partey.
Thomas Partey is a baller.
Scott McTominay.
Hoi. He's getting there. He's not there yet. He's not there yet.
It's not
But
there yet. Well, what does he need to get there?
he needs to keep that consistency going.
Um,
One of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's boys, but if you actually look at his stats, Fred does more than McTominay right now, and
yeah,
that's coming from a United fan.
but you talked about consistency though. Scott McTominay has been very consistent, regardless of what the numbers say. When you look at him play, he has been very consistent.
No. He's been consistent, but I'm talking about being consistent about making an impact. There's a difference between being consistent and consistency.
He has definitely made an impact. That's why he plays.
What do you mean?
He has made an impact in the game. When Scott McTominay is not playing, you can feel the difference. That definitely is an impact right there.
You know what? You're going to know more than I will because you're a Man United fan. However, what I will say, if I'm talking about that consistency with the impact in the game, if Scott McTominay is not there, do Man United miss him? From my opinion, sometimes, not all the time. When I say an impact player, I'll go back to Arsenal, right? Briefly, just so I can give the Arsenal fans a little bit of a shout out. When they let go the likes of Gilberto Silva and Flamini, you knew that was missing, and you said, "Hoy, how are we going to deal with this?" When McTominay is not there, I don't know if Man United are like, "Boy, what are we going to do now?" I know we'll bring in Van der Beek, we'll bring in Popper, we'll bring in Fred. You know, these guys are there. I don't know if it's the same, and that's why I say, is he a baller? When I'm talking about the definition of impact and so on, I don't know if he's there yet. And I think we'll disagree on this one for sure.
Okay, so the last one on ballers, and we'll probably touch on it later on, depending on how the season goes. Goalkeepers, ballers,
Yes.
all
Goalkeeper,
goalkeepers.
not all goalkeepers are ballers. Ramsdale at Sheffield United is not a baller, and he's been found out this season. The guy is a weak keeper. Sheffield United, you deserve to go down, right? What a horrible, horrible decision you made. Edison, baller, baller, okay?
Pickford.
Neuer, baller. Pickford, do you know what? People are not going to like it. He's a baller. Like mistakes, he's a baller. You got to put him in, right? Remember
Pickford
when
is
you
Pickford.
what you said about evolution. Goalkeepers have evolved. So you got someone like Joe Hart, not baller, because he didn't evolve. He wasn't what Guardiola wanted. He got found out. Even when he went to Torino, he was still conceding the same amount of goals as he was conceding at Man City. He went to Burnley. He flopped there as well. You've got to look at that. So what you said about evolution is 100% all right. It's 100% correct. Sweeper keepers are the way to go. You need to be able to use your feet. If you're not using your feet, you're not getting that consistency in goal anymore. It doesn't work like that. So goalkeepers have evolved to become ballers.
All right, we'll see how it goes moving forward, and with the wonderful definition of what I'm pretty certain that millions of people have what their definition of ballers are,
Of
and
course.
probably have their own version of the story, but we'll stick to your version of my version at this
But
point.
allow it, bros. Any guy. Any guy.
Don't worry. This is one argument we'll have off air. Not now. We don't want to spend the entire time talking about man like Jesse. Man like Jesse. Okay. So one of the things another thing I've noticed, and this will probably go within football and other sports.
Mm.
I'm a big believer in if you still have the goods to deliver, regardless of your age, keep it going. Yes, people will say, "Oh, you're getting older, your recovery, blah blah." But if the man can prove himself or the woman can prove themselves, regardless of their age,
Mm.
not one of the examples. And I know people who say it's an exception, but yet you have people that if they keep themselves as fit, dedicate themselves to the craft. I mean, wonderful. If you look at the likes of LeBron, look at the likes of Zlatan, and of course, the person that brought this to my attention was Tom Brady. You're big on
Hi,
you're big on the American sports and you're big on NFL. So
100%.
Tom Brady has kept himself. And when you look at him, he doesn't have six packs and oh my
Nope.
God, gym, but he has kept himself going. He's 43 years old and
Yeah.
stands in the possibility of winning his seventh ring, his 10th final.
Yeah.
So, what is this stigma that they have about age in sports, especially if the person can deliver? Zlatan is 39. Look at what he's doing. LeBron is what, 35, 36?
36, yeah.
Yes. And of course, as I said, people will point out that it might be an exception, but I'm sure there are loads of other players that would want to continue, but I've been told, oh no, you're getting old. If the man can deliver, why not? Let the younger person fight for the shirt. What do you think?
100% agree. You know, this one we will 1000% agree on. Even now, I look at the Real Madrid midfield. They've just they're looking to offer Luka Modric a new deal. Luka Modric is what, 35, 36 years of age. He is playing at the Galacticos. They're one of the best teams in Europe, and they will be one of the best teams in Europe for the next 5, 10 years at least. The way that their structure is, there's so many players. Going back to Brady, this guy's IQ is it's next level. It's so high, my hand is not even in the picture right now. It's up there. It's ridiculous, right? You to play that game, you need to understand as a quarterback, you're going to get sacked. You're going to get crushed. Your body has to be on point. The amount of times I have seen players taken out of that game is ridiculous. This guy's 43 years of age. He's talking about playing beyond 45 years of age right now. This guy is astronomical. He is the GOAT. He is the greatest of all time. He's surpassed Montana. It's ridiculous. Cristiano Ronaldo, his body is ridiculous. 100 sit-ups in the morning, 100 sit-ups in the night. That's normal for him. That's normal. Lord knows what he does in between. First guy on the training pitch, last guy to come off. It's ridiculous what they do.
You're pointing out reasons though why a lot of people will say is an exception, because I mean I okay no I don't do 100 sit-ups in the morning and the evening. Probably eating too much food by the evening to do 100 sit-ups to even do 20. Yeah, but the thing with the age thing is that we're calling great players exceptional players.
Hmm.
If you tone it down a bit, how many? I think if I might be wrong here, but I think the Italian league has a lot of what to be considered older players that are still playing very good football. And by older players, above 34, 35.
Okay.
But and people would possibly say is the sport. So Tom Brady is a quarterback.
Hmm.
Some people might say, "Oh, you don't do as much running, or you don't do as much defensive play, so it's a possibility you can keep yourself going." Would
Hmm.
he still be going if he played a different position?
I'm going to say yes. And the reason why is because you do have players 37, 38 years of age, for example, who are still running backs, cornerbacks, and so on and so forth, wide receivers, and so on. Now, with that, you've got to look at your diet. You've got to want it. You've got to have that hunger. You know, I don't know. I personally feel that Tom Brady is arguably the hungriest guy in sports beyond LeBron James. I think Tom Brady is the hungriest guy in sports. I don't think it can be debated personally. If he
Um,
takes that seventh ring,
hmm,
I can make.
hungriest. You mentioned Cristiano Ronaldo. You
Mhm.
is he more hungry than Cristiano?
I
There's
think Tom Brady, I'm not stuttering.
there's
Tom
Roger there's Roger Federer.
Tom Brady is the hungriest guy in men's sports. I don't know about women's because I can't think right now off the top of my head. But if we're talking about men, in my opinion, Tom Brady is the hungriest. Yeah, I understand what the likes of Cristiano does, the likes of LeBron, the millions that he spends on his body and so on and so forth. Tom Brady is ridiculous. Tom Brady is, they're all elite. You know what I mean? But Tom Brady, if you listen to his words, if you remember where he came from, you got to remember, this guy wasn't first draft pick, second draft pick, whatever. My guy was like sixth, seventh draft pick, right? They basically said in college, well, their version of college, we call it university. They basically said, this guy, he's comme si, comme ça. My guy, when he got picked, he went and he said, I will be the best. He said, he 100% said, I don't know if you caught that. He said, he will be the best. He said, I will be number one. And he is.
Well,
He is.
you could
The
say
guy with
that
the
you could say that for everybody that said they'll be number one. Cristiano Ronaldo also said he'll be number one, and he is. So you see, how do you measure the
my
hunger?
Tom Brady has the highest work ethic.
Higher than Cristiano Ronaldo.
We can debate this all you want. Tom Brady
This,
has
I
the
mean, we can debate it, but you have to prove it. I mean, everybody knows Cristiano Ronaldo's work rate. We all know that. We know the dedication to the craft.
I'm not on the field. How can I can't prove it? How can I prove it? I'm
No,
not there. What I'm telling
you will prove it with what you have off the field. The same way you know Tom Brady is the hardest working sports person. You can get research for everybody else. I'm just saying, man.
you what I'll do.
It's a big shout.
I will come with bare stats for you. How about that?
Okay, fine.
The
We'll
first is we'll touch on this. Like I will squash this.
the only way we'll squash it is if you're right. If you're not, well, there won't be any squashing. There will be no squashing whatsoever. Well, it's all good. Generally, with what's out there to look forward to? The Australian Open. What else is out there to look forward to?
What else is today to look forward to?
Yes.
Hello, we just spoke about Tom Brady. The
Okay.
Super Bowl is happening on Sunday. We are going to have the greatest of all time, Tom Brady, up against the greatest of all time right now on current form, Patrick Mahomes. It's a ridiculous matchup. It's the equivalent of Mbappe versus Messi or Cristiano Ronaldo. It's ridiculous. I don't know what's going to happen in the final. There's a lot going on in regards to people saying, you know what, it's time for Patrick Mahomes to take this crown. If Patrick Mahomes retains the Super Bowl with Kansas City, they're saying, you know what, Tom, you're 43. It's time to go. It's time to retire. I don't think it is. That is going to be absolutely massive, and I'm staying up, and I cannot wait for this titanic bout.
All right. All right, that's good. That's good. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you've heard it here between MC Saberboy and Dwayne P. Frank. Super Bowl is there to look forward to. We would revisit Tom Brady being the hungriest sportsman right now. And all the West Brom fans, if you were going to hate on anybody to be the man right there, I'm happy with West Brom being where they are. He doesn't seem like he is. Apparently you can't date anybody from West Brom if you live in Austin.
I'm in a good mood. Okay. Why are you bringing from up again? There was no need for that.
All right.
I was laughing, and now I'm not in a good mood.
All right. What? Grassroot Chats, ladies and gentlemen, is sponsored by absolutely nobody at the moment. So we'll keep it real and simple. Anyways, Dr. Frank, thank you for coming on once again. Pleasure to always have you on here. To all the people listening, thank you for your steady support. If you like what you hear, what you see, please share, subscribe, blah, 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 and do all the fun stuff. We will continue to pick out certain questions from Sports Weekly, and we'll see you next week. From myself, it's goodbye. And from Mr. Frank?
Bye.
All right. See you next week.
Take care.
Uh-huh.